In this video, I'm going to be modeling for you and thinking through some of the concepts that we will use to be able to think flexibly with place value. So what that means is we're able to kind of analyze a number and be able to be flexible with what the digits are representing and kind of where the digits came from. And this is actually a very important life skill because it's used all of the time in money. You might pay for something with certain bills and coins, and someone else might pay the exact same price with different bills and coins. So you have to be flexible with what you know about numbers and digits. All right, so we are going to get started, and you'll kind of see how this works, and then I'll relate it again back to the money. So a lot of times someone might be asked in this number, 7,123, how many tens are there? And someone who's not a flexible thinker would say, oh, there's only 2 tens. There are exactly 7,100, 2 tens, and 3 ones. And at first glance, that is true. But what that really means is there are 2 tens in the tens place. But there's tens inside of this 100. Because remember, hundreds are made of groups of 10. And then if you go even further, thousands are made of groups of 10 also because it's made of groups of 100. So if you really think about it, there are 2 tens here, but then there are 10 tens in here, and then there are 10 groups of 10 in here. That's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 tens in here. So if I put all of my tens together, it's 712 tens in this number. Now, I can't get any tens from the ones because I would have to have 10 ones to make a 10. So this one doesn't get included, but remember, all of these could be shifted and ungrouped into tens if I really wanted to. Now, because of our system, place value and grouping into 10 makes things more efficient, but I could ungroup all of these, make them into tens, and there would be 712 of them. Now, if your 4th grader is having a hard time visualizing this, ungroup. Do some ungrouping. Start with the 100, ungroup it, and make 10, 10, 6, and you'll see you're going to end up with 12 of them. So practice with smaller numbers. Thinking about this, how many hundreds are there? Well, someone who's not a flexible thinker would say, oh, there's 100. Only 100. But remember, there are 10 hundreds in here and another 10 in here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, plus this 100, there's actually 71 hundreds in that number. Now, we've regrouped them to make it more efficient by making groups of thousands, but you could ungroup them back into hundreds because larger place values are made of the smaller place values. How many groups of ones are there? Oh, this is a tricky one. So I see 3, but remember, I grouped 10 ones to make this one and 10 ones to make that one. So there's actually 20 in there. There's 100 in here. I could ungroup all of these and have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 plus the 100 plus the 2 plus the 3. That would give me 7,123 ones. But we've made it more efficient with thousands, hundreds, and tens by making groups. So that's how we can be very flexible with our thinking with place value and seeing that, yes, it might have a 2 in the tens place, but I can ungroup and get more tens from other places. And we do that all the time when we're adding and subtracting. We're grouping, regrouping, ungrouping. So we use it, we just have to remember it, that they're always in there. Tens are always in there, and I can always get them. I can't forget that it's not 2 tens. It's actually 712 tens, but bundled up in different ways. All right, so that is one way that we're thinking flexibly. Something else you might see is you might see something like this, and then you have to kind of think of what the value is here. So I have 2 thousands, 6 hundreds, 14 tens, and 8 ones. Now, some 4th graders might right away say, whoa, 14 tens. Well, normally when we get 10 tens, we regroup them to make 1,000. So some 4th graders might right away say, oh man, I'm going to change this. I'm going to take 10 of them and make a new 100 and just leave the 4 tens here. Okay? So then they might say, okay, well, that's 2 thousands in the thousands place, 6 700s because I regrouped it, 700s in the hundreds place, 4 tens in the tens place, and 8 ones. So the value of this is 2,748. Now, if seeing that isn't quite where you're at yet, you could do this. You could say I have 2 thousands, and then originally I had the 600s, and then I had the 14 tens, and then the 8 ones. Now I'm seeing, oh, there it is. This can get regrouped there. Now I see the 2,748. So here I was able to see that I could flexibly move these tens back and forth. And it's the same value, whether it's 14 tens or 4 tens, as long as I move that over to make a new 100. Still the same value. All right, one more example of flexible thinking is here. I'm given this number, and I need to be able to show it in a flexible way. So it's kind of similar to over here, but I'm actually show a visual for it. So here, I could have 56,154. Now, I could draw 56,154 ones, but I'm going to do something a little more efficient. So here I have 5 10,000s. So to kind of show that, I'm going to make this, and I'm going to put a 10 in each of them to show that that's 10,000s. Now I have my 6,000s, and those are just going to be plain old thousands. Now I have my 100, my 50, and my 4. And if you see, I lined up my place value drawing just the way it's lined up in the number. So now this is the way it looks in the standard form. But I can flexibly ungroup something and show that I can keep that same value, but just show the number in a different way. So the easiest way to do that is to just ungroup something. So here I could ungroup this 100 and make 10 tens. So the same value would be 5 10,000s, 6 thousands, 15 tens, and 4 ones. Still gives me the same value, but I've represented it in a different way. And again, that shows you that numbers can be flexible back and forth from place value. But because of our base 10 system, we kind of keep them all grouped by tens. Or I could take these away, and I could ungroup a 10 and make it into ones. So I have 5 10,000s or 50,000, 6,100, 4 tens, because I ungrouped one, and 14 ones. Still the same value, but I've just ungrouped a 10 and moved it into the ones place. So you might then notice this is something that adults do all the time with money. If I have something that is $157, someone might pay with a $100 bill, 5 $10 bills, and 7 ones. Someone else might pay with $100 bill, 5 tens, a 5, and 2 ones. Same value of $157, but they've paid for it in different ways. So that's flexible thinking. So really practice this with your 4th grader, that there are larger values created by the smaller place values.